Every game is going to be a must-win now. Every game now to the end of the season is like a cup final for Liverpool.
We're known for scoring late. We're known for being a fit team, coming on strong late. Now, if this is in my sport in boxing, if you're an athlete, you finish fight strong, and all of a sudden people start finishing you late.
I thought it was absolutely inexcusable. We're Liverpool Football Club, we are the Premier League champions, and I thought Man City come to Anfield and 99% of the time they get their backsides handed to them, and I couldn't believe how passive we were. Hello and welcome to Inside Liverpool on TalkSport's YouTube channel and on your smart TV, the show where we dive deep into all things Liverpool Football Club. The show is sponsored by BetMGM. You can download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk, gambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly. I'm your host, Sam Ellard, and with me the dream team are back together. Former Liverpool winger, Champions League finalist Jermaine Pennant, and the former British super middleweight champion of the world, Paul Smith. Guys, how are we?
Good.
That didn't sound like a very positive good. That did it.
My positive thing is the food was nice in Anfield on Saturday.
What did you have? That's the most important part of all this.
A nice burger and a nice pudding after it, but I think they're probably some of the only positives I had from the game. Obviously, Szoboszlai's goal.
No, forget about that nonsense. Inside the burger, do you go onions? Do you go sauce? Do you have any bacon in it? What do you go for? No, we're not killing time. You were at Anfield and you're having the pre-match burgers, an important part of a match day, right?
Oh, it was. It fueled me up to sit there and be a little bit frustrated again. I thought we started the game well. I thought it was looking good, and then the goal, and you just think, great, like, finally it's been okay, and then it just falls apart after that goal, obviously, which I'm sure we'll get into more now.
It was Liverpool 1, Man City 2 on the weekend. We scored late, didn't we? That Dominik Szoboszlai free kick, but Man City scored 2 late goals themselves to beat us. Liverpool with 6 wins, 6 draws and 8 defeats. It's 24 points in our last 20 Premier League games. Obviously a different context, but I've seen the stat doing the rounds on Twitter. Roy Hodgson had 20 league games in charge of Liverpool, 7 wins, 4 draws, 9 losses. 25 points, a point more than what we're on this season. Liverpool are now closer to the relegation zone than they are to top of the table, Jermaine. And every time you think this season, beating Newcastle, beating Karabakh, going to Marseille and getting a win, every time we take maybe one step forward, we then get brought back down to earth, don't we? 2 massive steps back.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. Look, and like I said, all these figures and numbers and stats that are coming out, end of the day, you can't hide away from them. It's there in plain sight. And it's listen, I want Slot to do well. I want my team to do well, of course. But, like I said, numbers, stats do not lie to you. And when we're seeing these kind of figures and we talk about Roy Hodgson probably being, one of the worst managers.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, it was a disaster that Liverpool's had. But the current manager we've got is doing worse than Roy. Then you're going to have conversations. It's a talking point, and it's not good, especially being Premier League champions, current Premier League champions. That is just, you could ask me at the start of the season, we're going to have a worse start than Roy Hodgson. I'd have laughed in your face. I'd say, good banner, that's a good joke, that. It really is a good one. But ultimately, the reality is here, and we are here. And as fans, as pundits, as anyone, neutral, you would turn around and say it's not good enough. It simply isn't. If I was in a job, well, I am, and I was, putting in rubbish performances, I'll be getting pulled aside and saying, if things don't improve, you're not going to be here much longer. But this is the reality, and this is where we are.
What did you make of the performance, Paul?
I thought it was a good battle in the first half. The second half, I thought we come out well, and obviously then that wonder goal, as soon as the ball gets put down, you see Szoboszlai line up, you think you're confident, and you obviously he's done it before, big game like this, there you go, goal. You just think that's it, perfect, like now let's see the game out, which we struggled to do a lot recently. But I was waiting till I come in to speak to Jermaine about it, and I asked him before, obviously, we dropped off, didn't we? Because I could see it, but I'm not an expert on football, but I could see it, the tactics changed, the urgency stopped. We tried to defend a 1-0 win, and I just don't think we're in a place to do that at the moment. This season,
we are
especially.
incapable this season of controlling games of football, whether we're winning, no matter who we're up against, even some of the weaker teams in the league. I think when we're in front, I never feel like we have the ability to see out a game. The first half performance, we went in at half-time 0-0. I was absolutely fuming. The week before, Spurs played Man City. Spurs sat deep and allowed Man City to pass. They went up 2-0 at half-time. Spurs second half had to come out. They got in City's face and they got at City and they got a 2-2 draw. I couldn't believe how passive we were in that first half. According to Opta, Liverpool faced 10 shots in the first half. The joint most on record in a Premier League match at home. City had 61% possession. I thought it was absolutely inexcusable. We're Liverpool Football Club. We are the Premier League champions. And I thought Man City come to Anfield and 99% of the time they get their backsides handed to them, and I couldn't believe how passive we were. I couldn't believe how we just let them have the ball, have possession. We need to be more aggressive. This Man City team, they might be second in the Premier League table. This City team are nowhere near as good, clearly nowhere near as good as the great City teams we've seen in the league. I'm talking about controlling games, dominating games. City can't do that. Jermaine, I was gobsmacked at how much respect we showed Man City in that first half at Anfield.
Yes, it's because of where we are. There's no confidence in that if we go toe to toe with the top teams, that we're going to come out on top, regardless if we're playing home or away. That I think the Anfield factor now is kind of vanished. Teams are coming here and getting the best results they've ever got in centuries. They're coming. It's like the Man United factor, that Old Trafford, the Sir Alex Ferguson is kind of dismantled, and teams are going there with no fear. And that's what it's like coming to Anfield. Anfield used to be a fortress.
Yeah.
I hated coming to Anfield, people did. But now I'm thinking, this team's vulnerable. They're not the same, Liverpool.
Arne Slot's lost 5 games at Anfield now. Jurgen lost 6 in 146 games played in front of fans. I mean, you feel going to the game now, the whole atmosphere changed, the aura around Anfield's gone?
A little bit, yeah. I've been saying this since sort of, especially since we started this show, that it's frustrating leaving the game, and I'm leaving the match a bit too much frustrated than what we've been spoiled to doing in the past, where you're leaving delighted and thinking, like, how have we just done that, or another great win, and you're expecting to win. But that's been the case for the last 30, 40 years at Anfield, 50 years even. Anfield is a place where you don't come and get results easily, and I think this year we've lost to the two Manchester teams. Leeds, all
3 promoted teams got a draw at Anfield.
Some other teams got a draw, Leeds, and I was there, and it's like, it's just not good enough, as you say. Now, I'm not one for sacking managers. I've said this time and time again. I still want him to turn it around. If he can still turn it around, brilliant. I hope he's the manager.
We all want him to turn it around, but the question now we're all asking ourselves is he going to turn this around now?
That's saying how much time do you give someone?
Well, I think he's going to be there until the end of the season, no matter what. Like, I mean, if we get to 6 games to go, 8 games to go, and we're still 6-8 points off, and there's genuine worry that we don't come Champions League, do they then panic? Not panic, but panic a little bit and go, we're going to sack Arne Slot and just bring in somebody to try. I don't think they're going to do that, but if Champions League football is in real danger with 6 games to go, then what do they do, Paul? Can we carry on like this, hoping for a turnaround? Where clearly, let's be completely honest, there is absolutely no evidence is there watching Liverpool Football Club this season that this team are showing any signs of getting better, improving and developing.
I've thought that a few times. Like, I think we've turned the corner now. I think we've turned the corner after a good win, and then it's just right back to the start, beating Newcastle, and then you go in the game confident. We said this before, didn't we? I think before, like, we've come on. If you told me we were probably going to lose 2-1 to City at home at the start of the season, when you play City at Anfield, they're probably going to get a 2-1 win, you'd be okay with it, in the sense that we'd probably hopefully be battling with them for the title, that. But the reality of it is, after that goal, 1-0 up to that goal, the shape we're in, and I've been all season, the way we're playing, the way the mood is, the way the fans are at the moment, the way that everyone's calling for sort of Slot's head at the moment, to lose that game after that goal by changing a tactic to sit back and allow them to come onto you, I think that's why we're so angry or wound up, the fact that we're losing to City at home, when normally, theoretically, at the start of the season, it's not really going to hurt you as much losing to your rivals for the title at home in that way. But the way it was, after being 1-0 up after so long, to then throw it away, I think it stings a little bit.
Yeah. Jermaine, let's talk about the one positive, and this guy's been a positive all season, hasn't he? But Dominik Szoboszlai, just on that free kick, prime Jermaine Pennant have that in his locker? Because
I ain't got that in my locker from that distance.
I don't think many players in world football have got that in their locker. I mean, that goal, the technique, the finish. I mean, some of the celebrations, I think it might have been
it's called the knuckleball technique. It's literally, get it up and down. It's fantastic. Ronaldo kind of started it off with his technique, but players have now adapted that and mastered it, and Szoboszlai is one of those players. I was more of a 25 yards 28 whip up and down, more Beckham-esque than Szoboszlai, but it's
you're
fantastic.
better looking than David Beckham, aren't you?
I don't know about that, or it depends on who's looking. But no, it's a great weapon to have. We see this. It's not a fluke now. He's got that down to a T, and he must obviously work on this, day in day out at the training ground. Arsenal got their corners, and now we've got Dominik Szoboszlai from out of that range, which is fantastic. So, he himself, he can stand up high, have his head held up very high, because he's been, one of our best players this season.
Yeah, the late kind of implosion almost feels just cruel on Dominik Szoboszlai. I mean, only Ekitike, 15 goals, has bettered his tally of 9 goals. He leads the way in terms of assists this season, 7 assists. I mean, his numbers are probably even better, given the fact that at times this season he's had to go and play at right back, like he played at right back on the weekend. I mean, he's the sort of player, Paul, where hope Virgil van Dijk stays for many years to come. But if for whatever reason Van Dijk was to, there's not just a great player in there. I think there's a ready-made captain in there. Lead your Liverpool Football Club. I think he's obviously a great football player, but I love his leadership skills. It almost feels like when we are losing, he's the one that is going to drag the game by the scruff of the neck. And all around this season, he's been outstanding, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I remember there's a few times with Liverpool that have been proved wrong in my first initial reaction. One was over Jordan Henderson. I remember thinking he should flourish here under Klopp. He's that type of player. He should really flourish. And at the time, I was expecting big things from him at the start, and I felt like I was wrong. And then he proved me right, which I was buzzing with, or proved me wrong, and he made it, which I was delighted with. I really wanted Darwin Núñez to make it, and I sort of judged him early on, thinking I don't think he's good enough.
I think every fan wanted Darwin.
I still do.
I really want to be proven wrong every week watching, but I just can't see it, mate. And I think with this, with Szoboszlai, I remember someone saying to me similar to Emre Can. I was thinking, I hope not, and I think that's wrong now. I think he's the real deal. Definitely, I'm buzzing for him, and he's a lot younger than you would expect, because his name's been on everyone's lips for years, hasn't he? He's one of them players like Vert. He's still young, but we've known about these players for a long time, maybe through the Al Champ Manager or Football Manager, or watching your FIFA, playing your FIFA and watching things. You notice these players, but you expect them to be late 20s or something by the time they get here, but they're actually still young, and he's been brilliant this season. It's tough to criticise, especially for the last goal and the foul. I think everyone would have probably done the same thing. I'd say, and the decision will probably come to in a bit, but I think he's been a welcome breath of fresh air this year for us.
Yeah, you mentioned there kind of hot, things that you got drastically wrong. The one that stands out for me, remember Jordan Ibe when he kind of first burst onto the scene in Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp as a young kid, and I thought in my mind, this kid's going to go on and be really, really special. And I guess obviously his career didn't pan out like that, did it? I think he might be playing non-league football now, but yeah. In terms of Dominik Szoboszlai, not having him on Wednesday night, Jermaine, is clearly going to be a blow, isn't it? But almost, obviously I want him to be available, but I'm also quite happy he might just get a rest. He might get, because he seems to cover more ground than anybody else, and he's been probably the most available player for us this season. Yeah,
so he'll get a needed rest. Obviously, we'll love him out there, but it's going to be a big miss. Not only are we going to miss his energy if he was playing in the midfield, but he's also a great player to put in as a makeshift right back.
Good at right back.
Yeah, so we're losing a little double whammy here, especially with the injuries we've got back there. So it's going to be a big miss. And who is he going to play there? Maybe Curtis Jones now.
I was just going to ask you that. Do you think it'll be Curtis Jones?
I think that's probably the better replacement of what's available.
There's a young kid, Calvin Ramsey, who I haven't seen too much of myself, but I know speaking to people, he's really, really high rated in the academy. But I think it'd be quite Arnie Slot to go with Curtis Jones and kind of almost go with his try and trusted.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the one who's got the Premier League experience under his belt. He's played there multiple times. He can do a job. So I think that would be the safest bet.
But the thing, though, isn't it? Sorry to interrupt you, but you're expecting Sunderland away should be sound. It's going to be a tough game.
They're beating home in the Premier League this season.
They've not lost at home.
Such a tough game, so you can't really slot a kid in and think we'll be okay.
Yeah, so
the pun with the slot.
So you're going to have to go with that experience. The pressure that is going to come with it as well. Obviously, you'll be able to handle it. So I think Curtis Jones will be the player that we see there. You'll be like you just touched on there is Sunderland, and
who, by the way, 3 points behind us in the Premier League table.
Start of the season, I'd have been like licking my lips, going, easy 3 points.
Yeah. No, anything.
I could take a couple of goals. Versus now, I'm fearing. I'm fearing going Sunderland.
Yeah. Jermaine, Liverpool conceded 4 90th minute winners in league matches this season. It's already the joint most by a team in a single Premier League campaign. Why is that happening? Is it down to individual mistakes? Is it down to the tactics? Because that's a pretty damning stat.
It goes. It goes both ways. You know, when Liverpool were scoring late on, when you do that a few times, no matter what level the game's at, what time the game's at, you have this belief that we're going to do it again, and they do. And I think they're like the first 5 games they scored late on, and you have this belief that it doesn't matter, we're going to get it, and it happens. And the team knows that as well. That the opposition, they get this sense of, it's that time, Liverpool may score here. They've been doing it on a regular basis. So the same way, when you're conceding, when that 90-minute mark gets up, as a whole team, you start to go in your shell. You start to go, let's try and defend this. Let's not lose. Let's not concede that last-minute goal.
And you can tell, can't you?
And you start getting nervous. You'll be looking at the clock, going, let's just get over the line. And that's added pressure. This is the Premier League, and then the team smell fear as well. So the team will go, right, these lot don't like this time here. They will concede. Let's lump it in the box, and ultimately they get the goal.
As Jermaine just said there, we're known for scoring late. We're known for being a fit team, coming on strong late. Now, if this is in my sport in boxing, if you're an athlete, you finish fight strong, and all of a sudden people start finishing you late. And they become the team, and then you're the one that's worrying. There's obviously a big problem. The same with the football, with Liverpool especially. I laugh and joke with my uncles who are Blues. I'm like, your fans are dead negative. We're 2-0 down, and we still think we can win it 83 minutes, 84 minutes. You just go 1-0 down, or even level, and you all leave the ground. And I'm laughing and joking with my uncle. But that's how it is at Liverpool. Like, we are, like, the fans are like that. They all saying they suck the ball in, 86, 87 minutes in a game and you're 1-0 down, you still think you can not only equalise but win it. But that belief, that every fan in there probably nervous now after 75, 80 minutes, even 1-0 up City, you're nervous, you're thinking, please don't score. But on the weekend, stupidly, I'm thinking, I think that'll be enough. As soon as that goal, and you think, we'll beat the City on, and all of a sudden you're losing 2-1, could have been and should have been 3-1.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And I think you touched on there. As a boxer, if you find an opponent and you go, if we get to the 7th round, he's going to get weak and he's going to go down. He can't hack it going over the 8th and the 9th. It's the same with football. If you got teams like, let's get to 0-0, 85 minutes, we've got a chance now.
And we've been a team, haven't we, coming on strong, as you say.
Yeah.
We're known for that, especially under Klopp. We come on strong late.
Mentality monsters was kind of the phrase. That was for always believing and going and scoring late goals, right?
Also, again, Jermaine knows a hell of a lot more about this than me, but we always seem to have that fitness for that, where our players always seem fitter and stronger later on in the games. And it doesn't seem the case this season, especially because we're nervous and we're worried, and the fans especially, sitting watching it, no game, you could be 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go at Anfield now and you're still panicking.
Yeah. Jamie Carragher, I think I mentioned it to you a few weeks ago on the show, but it's still just, it's in my mind. I think Jamie Carragher around a month ago basically said Liverpool this season, first half of the season, all of our games were like basketball games. It was end-to-end games of football. And then kind of in the last kind of maybe 6 to 8 weeks, it felt like kind of Slot prioritised the defensive shape. Remember that Inter Milan game away from home when he kind of went for that diamond and we were a lot more solid, a lot more organised, but it feels like we're now really struggling in previous weeks before maybe the Karabakh game to break teams down. Do you think at no point in the season, Jermaine, Arne Slot has managed to find the right balance? And do you think he ever is going to stumble upon the right balance where we can be a team that is on the front foot, scoring goals, but also still out of possession, well drilled, well organised, and hard to break down?
It's hard to say yes is going to find that balance because we're not 10 games in. We're well over half the season now.
Season nearly over.
You see, the season is nearly over. So
and the programme again. Sorry to interrupt. The programme for the match yesterday, on Saturday. Sorry, 13 out of 19. And I'm thinking we've only got 6 home games left in the league.
Yeah,
like the season's like it's gone like that.
Exactly.
18 games we played.
There you go. So if we've not kind of figured that out now, we've had many games to find that out. Then I don't think we're going to get to a place where everything's structured. I know we've got players out and maybe that's affected certain things, but it's not an excuse. Everyone knows the job, whether you come in off the bench, you're a starter, young kid, you should know this is our system. And this is how we're playing. And I see the best of Liverpool when we are on the front foot pressing, when we're not letting them get out, when we're pressing them, and there's a connection with the defence and midfield. What I see too much is, yes, we might press, but the defence is way back. So then you've got a massive hole, big gap in that midfield. If they just squeeze up, they are closer to the midfield, and that ball.
It's a really good point. Really good point.
And that's what we see on the club.
Yeah, I remember in the first kind of half of the season, I saw lots of images of what you just explained, where you'd almost have attackers, defenders, and a big open space in midfield where opposition players are just there. So yeah, it's
that's where Carragher's great on Sky. I'm not just saying it because he's been made.
He's the best pundit on TV. I
value his opinion massively because he breaks the game down for people like me who are not experts. I don't see them things, and he points them out to me. And
when are you getting him on the show? Next week?
Yeah, I'll let you pay his wages.
No, if you sort him out a few...
Yeah, man, even, I never thought to say, even Neville, like a lot of the time with Neville, the pair of them used to be on Monday Night Football all the time, and you watch it and you think, like, I don't even look for that. And he'll pause and go, look at him, he's not watching.
There.
Look at him, he's out of position. Look at him there. And I'm thinking, like, that's why I watch it, because I'm educated by it. But there's been so many times this season, especially about Liverpool, where he's been right. Like, they have been like basketball games, and then it does look like they finally turn it around, and all of a sudden something like that happens on Saturday.
Paul, did you know that? I knew that Jermaine was an avid Instagrammer. Did you know he was it's an X. It's not Twitter now, is it? He was avid on X as well. I didn't know that. I never knew, Jermaine. But all I have to say is your tweets are doing good stuff, because I was reading an Athletic article this morning on my way in about Alexis McAllister. Good detail, and then there your name pops up at the bottom of the account with former Liverpool winger Jermaine Pennant says this.
Yeah, no, I was obviously watching the game and I was frustrated and I tweeted. I don't really tweet that much. It's just one of
you were angry.
Yeah, I think it was, but it was a constructive angry. It was just basically I just touched on it like McAllister. I said, listen, we love you being a great player for Liverpool. You are a great player. I said from last season, team of the season.
Yeah. He was unbelievable last season.
And then I just touched on is that after your injury in pre-season, you've came back a shell of what you were. It seems like your legs have gone. And in that game, you was literally a bystander. Didn't really get into it at all, and that's all I touched on. That was just an observation.
And the Athletic have put some numbers to kind of back up what you were saying. Then McAllister's now. I feel like I can do the Athletic plug now that James Pearce is a friend of the show. Yeah. He even messaged me on Instagram to be like, "Can I just confirm this is your main real Twitter account, not just a random bloke sat at home pretending to be Jermaine Pennant?" Because that'd be weird to do that, wouldn't it? McAllister's numbers are down in most of his defensive actions this season. He's making fewer interceptions and tackles and winning fewer of his other duels. He's not winning possession high up the pitch as often as last season, and his creative output is also lower than last season. He hadn't scored in the Premier League and creating fewer chances per game. He also, you mentioned there, suffered a disruptive summer. He returned later than expected to pre-season and was playing catch up in the months followed. It looks like he just needs a break, maybe. Would that be right? Just almost needs a week or two to rest and not play football?
Sometimes it could be just simple as that. You need a rest, and you also need the mind to rest and reset. It could be just something like that, and you come back, the player that you were. People are saying it is demanding, like you said, and when the team's not flourishing, when things ain't going well, that's when it can really get punishing, not only on your body but on your mind as well, because you see in these comments, you're hearing criticism, there's always talk about you because you're Liverpool and you're in the spotlight, and everyone's human and we've got feelings, and sometimes it weighs on your mind.
It's tough though, isn't it? Because obviously, as you said, it's Liverpool, but I always speak about them, not the footballers. As good as it looks, as much as I would love to play at Anfield, I don't think I could handle that type of lifestyle, that scrutiny. Every single move you make on that pitch is analysed.
And even off the pitch sometimes as well.
And especially off the pitch. Like, the off the pitch stuff is unfair. On the pitch, I get it. It's the national sport. It's the biggest sport in the country. We all love it. And we all fanatical about it and pay our money to go and watch it, but when you're watching it, every single blade of grass is scrutinised by them cameras now. There's no hiding place from it, so if you're having a bad game, it's going to be talked about.
Jermaine Pennant's going to be tweeting about you, right?
It's tough, it is tough.
This is honest.
You are human, aren't you? As you say.
You have times when you're fighting with your head. You know, you'd read or hear comments, or you hear criticism of how you're playing, and then you go to yourself when you're at home. You know, the game's come up on a Friday night and go, right, I'm going to do better, then I'm going to do that different, and I'm going to make sure that this is... So you're arguing with yourself, you're trying to, you know, argue with what's going on, what people are saying for your performances. You know, sometimes you have a bad game, and then you're going into the next week and you're like, right, let me put that right. Let's not lose too many duels. And it's a battle you're having with yourself going into this game.
The pressure's on as well, isn't it? Because you're trying to prove a point when if you just relax and play your best game, I'm sure you'll be better. The same with the boxing. As soon as you just relax and just concentrate on yourself and stop worrying about the crowd, everything else, the training camp, this, just relax and let it flow, and that is your better self. That's what's going to make you perform better. But when you're under pressure and you're not performing well, the nerves kicking out, I would imagine as well, because
the confidence just shot,
confidence
and
is
then
gone.
You know, like I said, that game is now harder than it should be.
Yeah.
Rather than you go in there free, right, let's just play this, confidence is booming. You're going in there timid.
Yeah.
You know, every mistake is now, 5 times, 10 times, even more on your brain.
And we're having must-win games against Leeds now. You know, we're having must-win games against the newly promoted teams where you think, like, we really need to win this game. Whereas last season, it wasn't like that. Even most seasons, it's not like that. But the pressure's on, and it's tough, as you say. But regardless of all that, like any sport at the top level, you need a bit of luck. You need your fitness to be right. Could be anything. You might have had a terrible sleep night before. You're not playing at your best. Crowds don't care. The fans don't care.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I'm not putting the fans down saying that. It's just unforgiving sport. Top level sport is unforgiving.
And again, like with McAllister, and this is where I'd have a bit more sympathy with the manager. It was like the real kind of basic things, like the Nunez run for the penalty. You know, Jones and McAllister are next to each other. They kind of both just let Nunez run past him, and that's when he then gets brought down. And you can talk all you want about the manager and tactics and all that, but sometimes just a footballer there in that respect, when you've got a bloke who's about to make a run off you, that's where almost as a football player, whether it was Jones or McAllister, you've got to show a little bit of responsibility and just do the absolute basics, right, which is what we're not doing at the moment. And that's not on the gaffer, is it? No,
it's not. Obviously, the players need to stand up as well, and the basics is what you should just, bread and butter, really. And I think at the moment it's a lot of probably blame game, as I was like, right, I let him deal with it. Because, like I said, we're in such a down spiral. Everyone's he would deal with it and not taking the responsibility. Like I said, if it was in a good place, if it was second challenging, you had people see running everywhere, fighting, but at the moment it's like, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to be the scapegoat. Let me pass on to him.
I'm not saying Liverpool is going to be like this, but you must have seen this hundreds of times over, whereas we just watch and observe. You see a team and they're not playing, and then all of a sudden the manager changes, and that same team obviously Man
United and Chelsea in the last few weeks have been a good example of that.
I'm not having a go at these players at all. I don't want to. I'm not that type of person. But we've seen Klopp leave and then Slot come in, and the same group of players that were there Slot managed to get a good tune out of them the following year to win the league, obviously. So that it's there. I'm not saying that that's the case here, but we see it time and time again with other clubs where all of a sudden there's a manager change, and that's sort of breath of fresh air, because a few of the players will have probably wanted the manager to go, I would imagine. All of a sudden players now feel a little bit more relaxed and go out and just play their own game.
Well, 13 games to go and we're 5 points off top 4. If we fast forward a few weeks and there's 8 games to go and we're 7 points off top 4, do the football clubs to get Champions League football, will they have to make a decision like that? I don't think they will make that decision, what you've just put out there. But we all know, Jermaine, for so many different reasons, how important Champions League football is. And it will be absolutely a disaster, especially the money we spent last summer not to get Champions League football. Would you be happy with that if it does get to, so let's say, 8 games to go and we're 7 points off top 4?
Well, no, I wouldn't be happy with that at all. Would you be happy with the idea of replacing someone to come into net? That's what I meant. If we was in that situation and that the board turned around and said, right, we're going to, part ways with Arne Slot and get someone else new in, I would not have no qualms with that at all. Because with 7 games to go and with this many points behind, I can't see it changing. So what's the worst going to happen? We maybe get someone else fresh in who can make a difference, or we get someone fresh in and it doesn't. We're still in the same position if we're probably kept Slot. But I just want to quickly touch back, and I know Slot came in and won the league with Klopp's team, but I believe if Klopp stayed another year, he would have won the league, because unfortunately the Klopp, he had Man City and Arsenal who were at their probably best from season to season to season, going, back
one season,
forth,
97 points and didn't win the league.
back and forth. And I think if Klopp would have took over when the Slot, if he'd have stayed in that period, yes, the teams were really dropping off, and I think he would have won his second time.
I think that's probably true, but I also what I've done. I'm not saying you're saying this, but I've had people in this office say, "Oh, Slot won. It was all Jurgen Klopp last season. It was his team," and I appreciate that. But I think you have to give credit. We can't take credit away from Slot last season in terms of how he came in. And he did change the tempo. He did change the style. He did make his own sort of tweaks. Gravenberch played as the number 6. So I think, I don't disagree with your point, but I also don't like it, Paul, when some people don't give Slot credit for last season. No, I know you're not doing that, but you've also got to do that, haven't you? Yeah.
But I think that if Klopp was still in it, I think he would have got the same job done.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, but like I said, a manager coming in, winning the league is fantastic, absolutely amazing, and don't take nothing away from that.
What do you make of Pep Lijnders? If it's a weird one, because I don't normally get.
I'll say it for you. He's a dog. Should be there.
Yeah.
Should be coming back here. And I mean, I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but no.
But also, what was he doing?
The clubs you can go to.
Yeah.
Arch rivals over
But he did this whole thing where he was with us for so many years. And then I think, I'm paraphrasing here, but I think he said when Klopp left that he would maybe never do another job like that again in England. He goes to Pep. And also I thought it was weird that he was even with the, close to the away fans after the game. I was like, get down the tunnel and start, looking at numbers and data for your next game against Fulham. But
that's the saying, and if you want loyalty, buy a dog.
Yeah, that's why I've got one.
Yeah, I don't know. Pep Lijnders, I know, I'm a little bit... Yeah, I didn't like that. Klopp and Pep were together for pretty much all of Klopp's time there, right?
Yeah, it was, and it was a integral part, wasn't there? There's a really important part of the success that we had, and it's like going to the enemy and giving them information.
I was looking down at where I sit. I look down to see if there's any subs or anything happening. I'm looking down, I'm nudging me and going, Curtis Jones is coming on now. Is Jones coming on? And I'm looking, I'm thinking, where's he? Where's Lijnders? What's he doing? Is he animated? He's probably told him every secret going. I'm watching the duels with Van Dijk and Haaland up top, and I'm thinking he's probably telling them all Van Dijk's weaknesses.
Can we class as treason?
There you go, that's it. No, keep him away from us.
Honestly, yeah. Come on, I want Arsenal in the league now. Were you booing Mark Gahey?
No, why would you?
But he was. It sounded on TV like it was quite loud booze. It
was loud, but
it's very un-Liverpool that, especially that it wasn't really his fault, was it?
You're booing a player who didn't come to us because we wouldn't pay £5 million more.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
He's done absolutely not.
No, I thought it was bizarre. Yeah,
you'd have been cheered.
It's just part and parcel of football, when someone don't come to your team.
Yeah, no, but it feels un-Liverpool. Like I expect mid-table Premier League teams to do that.
I'm not going to boo a player for not coming to us as much as I wanted them. I'm not going to stop.
He didn't turn us down.
No, he was there doing a medical. He was in the kit, wasn't he? Yeah. I thought he had a good game though. By the way, it was a bit annoying. I thought he looked quite good.
At the start, I thought this booing's actually working. You can keep it up, but no, he's a good player.
Yeah. Anyway, you mentioned Curtis Jones. He was an unused sub for the game against Arsenal. And that was very bruising for him because he had started Liverpool's previous 6 Premier League games, 3 wins, 3 draws. Since then, he started against Barnsley in the FA Cup and in the league draw with Burnley at home. He's been out of the starting 11 for the next 5 games, including Man City. This summer, Jermaine, he's entered the final year of his contract. I think Curtis Jones is a tremendous football player. Have you been slightly surprised at how Arne Slot just hasn't really picked him over the last couple of weeks?
Yes, but I can understand when you've got Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister, when he's McAllister, you probably would say that's your best 3 in the midfield. But we're miles off it at the moment, and he can give his legs. He can dictate sometimes the tempo and, get forward and track back and whatnot, what you want. And he's good on the ball. So for the last 4 games, he's not started. Yeah, there is a little bit of question mark. I would say to me, there's been with the interest in Tottenham and his contract and into Milan. and just the bond with him and Slot. I think there's been, there was a bit of tiff going on and not eye to eye.
Have you seen that video of, I think it was a Burnley game at home where
with an instructions
Slot and
going
Jones
in,
gets quite animated,
and he's like it's like what do you want? Like what? This doesn't make sense.
He looked quite confused, didn't he?
Yeah, got a little confused, and I think that's where the squad is at the moment. You're just confused.
Can I ask you a question again? Outsider looking in, do players tend to have a lot of arguments with the manager, but then they just forget about it the next day because it's part and parcel of it?
Yeah. When they're barking instructions, sometimes they see something, but sometimes it's not as crystal clear as that on the pitch. As in, he's seen something, but when you're in the moment, you feel something different. It's not as what he wants, and you're thinking, well, if I do this, it's not going to work because he's going to start going on. So you have sometimes an argument, and you don't see an eye to eye. And
the thing in boxing, obviously, if you don't agree with the coach, it's disrespectful to tell him because he's the coach, even though you're employing him as a pro. In the amateurs, I had an England squad, and the coach is telling me to do this one thing, and I didn't understand what he was asking, but I couldn't understand his accent. He had a dead strong accent anyway. And I don't understand what you want me to do. What is it you're asking me to do? And when he explained it a different way, it was easy. Yeah. And I got it straight away, but I just couldn't understand him. But in our sport, you don't really answer back to the trainer. And whereas I've seen full blown arguments, obviously Salah and Klopp and everyone else. And
that's Slot and Jones one looked pretty heated
obviously. But I wonder whether obviously if that happens, it should just be squashed the next day. But did he hold on to it? Because obviously he's not
sometimes
playing.
Managers do. Sometimes managers, but as a player, you just get. You have a little argy-bargy, and then it goes.
Is that just normal that a couple of blokes end up shouting at each other on a football pitch? In the
heat, it happens all the time. Like teammates, you'd be shouting at all sorts of.
Who was the biggest shouter you played with?
You could hear Cara from everywhere.
Yeah, he was
you could hear. It doesn't matter where. You could be in the changing room. It doesn't matter where you are.
We had Stevie on Man and Brothers podcast.
Oh, sorry.
And he was laughing.
Let me just pick that name up off the floor there.
Listen,
just had Stephen Gerrard on the podcast last week. Yeah, no big deal.
And he said about Carragher, he said loads of people would be icing the legs after the game. He said I'd be icing my ears after the cauliflower ears after him. He says always shouting, get in position, do this, do that, stop losing the ball.
It's not even shouting, it's screaming.
But Stevie wasn't a shout. It wasn't the biggest shouty captain, was he?
Stevie did credit Carragher for being saying I wouldn't have been the captain I was if I didn't have him behind me.
Oh, really?
As you've just said, they organising everything, shouting everything, being the sort of the second captain behind the captain, let's say, and running things from behind. It was a nice little way he put it, to be honest with you, about
Carragher. It was like a quarterback behind the quarterback.
There you go, yeah.
But then he would give out the important instructions.
Yeah.
Stevie would like when he's reading the game, he would tell you there when Carragher's more defensive, get back, get on it.
And he would also, Steve, do that thing where we'd be losing 1-0 and he then just scored 2 wildies in the last few minutes. That's a game of football, which was also really useful, wasn't it? How we need that right now, don't we? One, you left from that deal with Curtis Jones. I really hope that it'd be a travesty, I think, to see Curtis go, because one, his footballing ability, but also because he's the scouser in the team. The only one at the moment, isn't he?
Well, I think I said this last week.
Yeah. It's important to keep him, isn't it?
I think it's always important, me personally, as a Scouse Liverpool fan, I think it's important to always hopefully have one homegrown Liverpool Scouse lad in the team if we can, but it doesn't always work out that way, does it?
No, it doesn't. And like I said, it is important, but it's important for them for the other players to learn what it means. The history. Being a Scouser, playing for Liverpool,
even
fans,
even the culture.
Yeah, telling them the culture, it will help. These new players coming in. Curtis would be saying, "All right, this is how it is when we play these. This is what this means," and it's important. It's important.
Do you run a coffee shop in Liverpool? Have I just made that up?
My wife does.
Oh, your wife does. Okay, I'll say you get the culture.
I'm coming in there. I'm playing in the Legends game.
Are you really?
Let me know
against Dortmund. So I'll be down on Friday. So on Sunday,
I'll definitely come and see you. Definitely,
I'll come in and have a coffee.
That's a Belter. You're playing in that game.
Yeah, so Klopp's going to be there.
No, Jammer, that's unbelievable.
In March.
It's in the international break in March. I think it's late March.
So I think the game might be 28th. I travel down on the 27th for train, and then.
And Klopp's your manager.
I don't know if it's going to be both. So I don't know if the first half he'll do Dortmund, second half he'll do Liverpool.
Oh, sure, that makes sense. Yeah. And who's some of the players that are playing for Liverpool?
I'm not saw the team sheet yet, but I think maybe my old teammate El Nino Torres could be there.
Oh, definitely there as well.
So I'm not 100% sure on the team sheet, but looking forward to it.
Oh, well, I reckon Stevie's going to be there, isn't he?
Yeah, they're always there. The Anfield ones, they're like
who?
Stevie G.
Well, can I not call him Stevie? Is that what it is? He's Stevie to me, isn't he? I know. I know he's got no idea who I am.
Every Liverpool fan.
But he's Stevie G to me. He's my captain, my leader, my hero. That's brilliant, man. That's maybe what you could do. I mean, I know you're going to be playing, but you got a little interview with the player. Get a couple of exclusives for Inside Liverpool, you know?
Absolutely. I'm sure I'll do my best, but yeah.
As long as you're paying
as well.
Say again.
As long as you're paying
Paul. It's not all about, it's about the
It is, mate. It is.
It's about the love of the game. It's about the love of Inside Liverpool, honestly. I would come to the coffee shop as well.
Please.
So is there a cafe as well? Can you get food in there?
Yeah, of course.
Like a full English breakfast?
Yep.
What's it called?
It's called Baby E.
Oh, I love
nice.
that. Happy days, mate. Happy days. Right, Jermaine, we move pretty quickly, don't we? Because we play Sunday and then we play once again Wednesday night. Touched on there, but Sunderland are in. I mean, it feels like at the moment I don't go into any game feeling particularly confident. But we mentioned Sunderland staying in the light, unbeaten at home, 3 points behind us, under the lights, all of that. This is going to be a hard game of football.
Yeah, it is. You know, we saw how kind of difficult they made it at Anfield. And now they're going to a place that's their fortress and a place that, like I said, some big teams have gone there and failed to come away with 3 points. And the place that Liverpool are in now, I have no faith that we're going to go there and get 3 points.
Sounds awful, doesn't it?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, so
would you take a point?
Don't. I was on a train.
I'm not even joking.
I was on that train home just before the Man United game. I was commentating the night before in Leeds on some bare knuckle boxing. The next morning I'm on the train because I couldn't drive because I had my sling on my shoulder from my operation. And we stopped at Piccadilly and all United fans got on. And one of the lads was shouting, "Hey mate, are you a boxer?" And I was thinking, oh no. And I turned around, it was one of my mates. And I'm talking to them all Anthony Collar's family and friends going to the match. I'm going, would you take a draw today? Like being all cocky as if it was like still last season. This was early on in the season. I was like, would you take a draw today? They were like, well, we haven't won here for years, so we just like to get anything out of it. Yeah, probably. Oh my God, one of the worst things I've ever done.
Yeah,
I've never been able to live.
No, that Harry Maguire header, I'm never going to get. That was painful, wasn't it? And in terms of it feels like he doesn't. So, like Salah and Gakpo are on in particularly good form. You know, Chiesa maybe when he coming on this and be like, we're getting to a point, Jermaine, like the young kid Rio and Goma. Did he deserve a run in the team? Because Gakpo and Salah, their output, their end product, their consistency is not good enough.
It's hard, but yes, it does deserve. But at the same time, I think you're playing Salah and Gakpo thinking, right, this is going to be the game. Right, this is going to be the game. Okay, we're going to see the whole Salah. We're going to see a better Gakpo. Yeah. And you keep going, and you're just not getting
Gakpo's frustrating, isn't he?
Very frustrating. Yeah. Very frustrating. But yeah, it's hard. And like I said, Rio's a young kid, and to leave all that pressure and expectation on him is difficult. And that's probably what's only playing against him.
And you know the thing with Rio, and I don't mean anything derogatory in this whatsoever, we see it in boxing all the time. Sometimes she's just not ready yet. The ability's just not there just yet. It will be, and there's unbelievable potential, but it's not fully there. You're not fully developed. You haven't learned the game just yet. The ability isn't in. What we need at the moment is probably a bit of that, a bit of ability, a lot of ability, a lot of experience to try and settle the ship and see these games through. And a young kid coming on with all the talent and potential in the world at the moment, the abilities just might be like with me the other day watching it when Chiesa come on. I was looking at him thinking, like, not that this is your chance. He didn't have much time to change things, but when I seen it, I think he's just lacking that little bit of like top class quality as well. And I love him. I love the song. I love the whole demeanour about him, the way he is, and I hope he makes a success like every player at Liverpool. But you just don't know if it's quite there. And it's easy for me to say as a fan. Obviously, I don't know how hard it is on the pitch, but I hope they make
it's hard at the moment. Villa 47, United 44 make up the top four. There is a possibility, I think it's more likely than not, that fifth place will get Champions League football again this season. Chelsea 43, then it's Liverpool 39, same amount of points as Brentford 39. Sorry, Everton are 2 points behind us. I mean, they're going right on the under David Moyes. Are we coming top four, Paul?
I don't know. I hope so. I don't know. It's tough to see at the moment, especially after the weekend. You look at us after Newcastle, you think, I think we'll just do it, but it's tough. And again, I have to stress it. I don't want to see Slot go because I just don't think we're that type of club. Firstly, secondly, hope and want him to succeed. But if he doesn't, and if this stays the way it's been at the minute, and there's no real signs of us getting Champions League football next season, I think that'd be catastrophic for the team, for the club.
It would be huge. And like to answer that question is, same as Paul. I genuinely don't know. I would love to say, oh, do you know what? Yeah, we'll scrape, but I genuinely do not know.
Yeah.
The league as well, again, you know, a lot more diminished. The Premier League, that's what makes it good. Like, there's no easy games no more. Especially the way it's gone.
Especially with the way we're playing as well.
Or such way, like more set piece based, far
more physical now, isn't it?
Far more physical. I don't think there's any easy games out there for us, and as Jermaine said, like, I'm not confident going to any game whatsoever.
No, and also United have picked up some form, haven't they, over the last couple of weeks? Even Chelsea maybe not playing as well as United there, but both United and Chelsea won the last 4 games in the league. This midweek, Chelsea home to Leeds. You'd expect them to beat Leeds at home. United go to West Ham. Not easy. West Ham are fighting, but the 2 games possibly you'd expect them both to win. So we've got to beat Sunderland, Jermaine. Simply that, we've got to try and find some sort of consistency.
Listen, every game is going to be a must win now. We can't afford to start going away to these kind of teams and getting a draw, because draw is just not good enough. 1 win in 2026 is just not good enough. So every game now to the end of the season is like a cup final for Liverpool if they want to play Champions League football next year.
And like the last few seasons we've had, you look at us and think we can probably go on a 15-game run there. 15 wins and all that. Like,
yeah.
I'll take 1 now.
Yeah.
I'll take a draw on Wednesday against Sunday.
No more draws, please.
I'd go 1 game unbeaten on Wednesday night.
Yeah,
I'm more drawn
what I mean
out.
by that? We've had times where you think like we've gone on runs like that, 15 wins or 11 wins or 12 wins or 18 unbeaten and 12 wins out, and all of a sudden you're right back up there. You just can't see it at the moment, and I'm not kicking them while it's down as such, but it's just not looking the best at the moment. It's a bit bleak.
So Sunderland away is Wednesday night. Saturday evening, we're playing in the FA Cup 4th round at home to Brighton. Are you going to the game, or are you taking the missus out for Valentine's night, or you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, bring her with you to the game?
I think I might be working, so I don't have to go to the game with a bit of luck. No, I'm only joking. No, if I'm back in time, I'll be romantic for 2, a little burger at half time with onions and
Lovely.
Good treat her well, mate. There we go. Jermaine, are you a romantic type?
I don't know what Valentine's is. I'm working. What's Valentine's?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's apparently the thing where you take your other half out somewhere nice. And...
that's every day.
There we go. Ladies, man, this man is unbelievable, honestly. We're looking forward to that conversation. We say, babe, I'm going into Talk Sport to do Sports Bar Weekender with Adam Capture on Saturday night. Good man. Right, should we do our bet builder with BetMGM? Remember, you can download the app or head to betmgm.co.uk. This is for the Liverpool-Brighton game on Saturday the 14th in the FA Cup 4th round, 8 o'clock kickoff. We're quite end-to-end open at the moment. I think Brighton also are quite good going forward, but open defensively. So I think goals in this game, my one is I'm going to go for over 3.5 goals.
Okay, I will go. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to go Liverpool win.
Good. I mean, that seems right, doesn't it?
I'm going to keep it safe and go both teams to score.
Okay, I like it. So we've got over 3.5 goals. We've got both teams to score, and we've got to go for Liverpool to win. And also, to be fair, I believe apart from Burnley and Wolves in the Premier League, it's since the turn of the year, Brighton have been in the worst form. So maybe it could be a game where we can get back to winning ways. There we go. That's our bet builder there. Liverpool-Brighton on Saturday night, over 3.5 goals. Both teams to score, Liverpool to win. And remember, you can download the app or head to betmgm.co.uk. It's another thing as well, isn't it, with this season that makes it even more intriguing is, talking about doom and gloom in the league at the moment, we are still in the FA Cup, and we can't forget we are still in the Champions League as well.
Champions League, that's where I'm the most confident. That's where I'm going into there thinking, okay, we can do well in this competition, because it's not the same kind of style as the Premier League. It's not as intensity. It's not as corners. It's not as long set piece kind of based. It's not as low block. Everyone's kind of trying to win, which suits our game.
You said that, didn't you? You said teams are coming to actually, and they're open because they're trying to win, so it's better for
Premier
us.
League, you're thinking, look, a draw's good for some teams, not in the Champions League. So I'm more optimistic about the Champions League maybe getting us to,
that'd be nice.
Next season to play in it, then actually finishing in the top 4.
We'll just have to win the Champions League, won't we? Win the Champions League and qualify that way, Paul. No dramas.
Well, if any team can in this country, it does, isn't it? It could happen. It's happened in lesser circumstances. All you have to do is look at that team sheets for both of them in the 2005 Cup final. The team sheets on them, you wouldn't expect us to win that.
No.
Obviously, in history happened, and then we've done it again since. But listen, I'll bite your hands off now for a Champions League win.
Bit of a stronger team in 07, wasn't it, Jermaine?
A little bit stronger, but unfortunately, the better team didn't win on the day.
Who was man of the match again, Paul, in that 07 Champions League? Do we know who got man of the match in that final? Was it one of the AC Milan players?
I was there, I was jet lagged, I was tired, I don't remember, but yeah.
Next man over here, Jermaine Pennant.
For Liverpool.
Don't leave me hanging. Good man. Boys, that's all we've got time for on this week's episode of Inside Liverpool. Thank you very much, Jermaine. Thank you very much, Paul. We're going to be back next week, so it'll be after the Sunderland game, and also it'll be after the Brighton game, where I say this all the time, but hopefully, fingers crossed, when we talk next week, we might have won a game of football. Good vibes are back. I want to do this show with you. Remember last year, Jermaine?
I loved it.
You should just laugh and smile.
We would sing songs.
We would be number one.
And then I came along and jinxed everyone.
Do you know what, Paul, mate? We got bigger things. We got bigger problems than just now. We love having you on the show. I want good vibes with you, Paul Smith, as well as my man Jermaine. And this show is sponsored by BetMGM. You can download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk. Gambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly. Inside Liverpool is back next Monday.